Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. I'm your host Chris, and we have some exciting, spooky, Marvel, dark, monster hunter side of the world things to discuss today, as Daniel RPK, well-known Marvel scooper, has given us a new character update for the Werewolf by Night Halloween special that will be coming on Disney Plus and presumably be getting a huge announcement and update teaser trailer of some sorts during Disney Plus Day or Disney's D23 event. So we're going to talk about this character and why she is so important. This is something that has me, a huge fan of the Monster Hunter side of the MCU, extremely excited. Guys, we very well may be getting Elsa Bloodstone. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the other major movie and television news updates happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of these are in the description down below. So let's start off the discussion with the big news update, which, as I mentioned, comes from Daniel RPK, or Daniel Richmond, who he's one of the bigger scoopers. And he said on his Patreon, the Desperate Housewives actor, Harriet Sansom Harris, will be playing a new character in the MCU called Verussa, a character that will lead a cult from the House of Bloodstone. Verussa looks to be a new character for Werewolf by Night, but also a new character altogether, as this character has never been mentioned in any Marvel comics. However, the exciting part of this report, of this announcement coming from Daniel RPK, is the name Bloodstone, and Verussa will be leading the cult for the House of Bloodstone. Now, there is only one name in the entirety of the MCU that goes along with Bloodstone that will get us this excited, and that could be Elsa Bloodstone. Now, this certainly would have implications of Werewolf by Midnight, Moon Knight, Blade, and several others who have been introduced into the MCU or have been rumored to be introduced to the MCU, forming the group well known as Midnight Suns. This is very exciting, especially for those of you who are excited for the dark side of the MCU, the monster hunters, and all of the stuff that comes with that. However, let's talk a little bit more about the Bloodstone family name. It's a very important name, and although Elsa Bloodstone is the most well known from that, and her participation in the Midnight Suns is very important, we do also have to talk about where she's from, how she came to be, and what we might see of her in the Halloween special or moving forward into the MCU, assuming she may not actually have an appearance. Elsa Bloodstone, daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone, was born in Massachusetts, in fact in Boston, where they have a family manor. Her father wanted her to be a very strong individual and to carry on the Bloodstone name with honor, and shortly after her father passed, she became the rightful heir and owner of the manor in Boston, and it was around here where her monster hunting career begins. She would use the powers of the Bloodstone Choker, a necklace she's very often, if not always, seen sporting in the comics, in order to defeat different monsters, and it was her own familial sacred drive that would eventually lead to her joining the Midnight Suns. She's been involved with several different characters: Deadpool, Elektra, she was part of the Defenders, and, of course, the Midnight Suns, the famous MCU monster hunting and defending group. Now, we can talk a little bit more about what's going on in this Halloween special, because quite honestly, we've gotten close to no information, and it is a Halloween special, so it's not going to be too far away. However, in less than a week, we will have Disney Plus Day, which is where I would presume to expect the first teaser trailer or the first full trailer, more announcements and explanations of what the series is going to be, if it's going to be a special with multiple episodes or one 90-minute special that shows up, and maybe even more about the characters we can expect to see. It's obviously clear that Werewolf by Midnight will be involved in the series. However, will Moon Knight show up? A lot of people are hoping that this is the case because Moon Knight's first ever appearance was actually in a Werewolf by Night comic. And with his very successful opening series, I would consider it very successful, the Moon Knight series, people are expecting and anticipating his next appearance. We want more information about the character whose project was the most uninvolved in the MCU out of any Marvel project to date. Whereas there were very few references to the MCU, we did get a full and complete origin story of Moon Knight. So people want to know, where is he going to fit in? And Moon Knight's one of the most versatile characters, which is what makes his lack of involvement in the MCU even more exciting. He was an Avenger at one point. He was with Midnight Suns. He's joined several different groups and teams in the comics, and his origin story is pretty solid. So where is he going to show up? The cosmic side? Is he going to show up on the Street Hunter side? Is he going to show up on the Monster Hunter side? Or will he just go on and be an Avenger? The options are all there, but I certainly think most people are expecting him to be part of the Midnight Suns, to join Blade, the Black Knight, and presumably now Elsa Bloodstone, in order to create this awesome team that will protect the known world from demons, monsters, and other scary things that crawl around at night. Now, Doctor Strange, Deadpool, Spider-Man even have all had different run-ins in the comics with the Midnight Suns, joining the groups for different comic book runs and different events, so there are always opportunities for different type of collaborations and connections, and we know everybody loves to see all that coming from the MCU. However, before we get that far ahead of ourselves, we have to remember that there's been no real establishment for the Midnight Suns in the MCU. In fact, we've been talking about the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers for a very long time, and how there's definitely some type of collaboration. Valentina's going around grabbing characters. Where are they going to be used? Well, we only just got the confirmation that they seem like they're going to be Thunderbolts, and that movie won't be coming out until Phase 5. Well, other than the knowledge that we have about the Midnight Suns and who showed up in the team and who were in the comics, we haven't had any real teases from Marvel that we will be headed in that direction. In fact, the name of the Bloodstone character, or the Bloodstone bloodline, that's going to be represented by this new character that Daniel RPK has now casted for us, has been the closest we've been to the Midnight Suns. Although demons and devils were mentioned in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, there have been no other monster implications that have really been given to us outside of those few things. So at D23, or more likely Disney Plus Day, hopefully we'll get a more expound explanation of Werewolf by Night, and if they really want to please us, really want to give us what we're hoping for, we'll also get an explanation of the Midnight Suns, and whether or not we should be expecting to see a team of this sort joining the MCU maybe during Phase 6 or Phase 7, or some type of other special that hasn't been announced earlier on. Hopefully we'll get some updates and information about this come the big D23 event, but with X-Men, Fantastic Four, new Avengers movies, and many other things that will be coming as massive announcements, there might not be time or room or even relevance necessarily for something that will be coming so far down the line in the MCU. However, with this announcement, I am more hopeful that we will be getting a Midnight Suns project, whether a TV series or a movie, and hopefully you guys are excited about that as well. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. As always, thank you to everybody who watched to the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.